Hi, I think we're live on both of our, all three of our platforms right now. If you're on Instagram, Allegra will be joining us shortly. I am Natasha Corrigan, and
I'm
Allegra Ramos
Allegra.
will be joining. Allegra is on Facebook and YouTube, and she'll be joining us in a second here on Instagram. And we together are Beyond Your Wildest Dreams, BYWD, and we are committed to making sure that you find ways to prioritize yourself, save time, and achieve your goals. That is our main purpose. And we are committed to that. And how we do that is by offering up several different ways to go ahead and do that. You can do it with our books, our workshops, and our 2-day live course, which is coming up in January. So we have a brand new course. It's our new, best and most improved version, the latest and greatest of our course. Harness the Power of Planning is coming up in January, and we have 4 books now out that you're able to check out and they're all short reads. They're all like little workbooks that you can use to help improve your life. Within an hour, if you go through those workbooks, you're going to be able to do 4 different things. One, really get to do your to-do list way more efficiently. Let your to-do list work for you. 3, 2, 1, done is the name of that book. The next book that we have also is it's not the family.
Well, let's start with
It's the
Rock
other
Your
one.
Morning.
Rock Your Morning. Yeah. If you've followed us before and seen us talk before here live on what used to be Wednesdays, now Thursdays, thanks for joining us. Rock Your Morning, we talk about going ahead and building a morning ritual that works for you and your life and has you kick off your morning in like the best possible way. And we have another book. Our third book is about Rocking Your Mission, which is about creating a family mission. And that sounds like maybe a little out there, but it is definitely something that is, I just mean
Okay.
like maybe it's not something you've heard before, right? Maybe. I don't mean like out there like it's weird. I just mean like it's probably a new concept. It was a new concept to me before Edgar and I started talking about it. I was like, oh, never occurs to me, but it makes sense, right? If you've got a Fortune 500 company or you're part of a family, it's a good idea to have a mission,
Well, yeah, because
right?
anytime you get more than one person together, there are going to be things that you need to negotiate, right? And we could talk little things like the temperature in the room, how much screen time the kids have, that sort of thing. And ideally, you do these things before kiddos come along, right? So when you're just in the relationship portion, but not all of us were that forward thinking. I know I wasn't. And it was something, a family mission statement was something I was introduced to by Stephen Covey. If you read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about doing one, but he doesn't talk about how to do it. And so I really kind of had to figure that out myself. And this is where Rock Your Mission was born. And I don't even, it's a pretty new book. We don't even have the
Yeah.
latest, the cover. So, but our fourth book, and I just want to give some clarity. So Natasha and I are on a mission, as she said, to help you prioritize yourself. If you need help with that, Rock Your Morning. Where we want to help you save time. If you need help with that, 3, 2, 1, done. And if you want help with achieving your big goals, that's where our 2-day course, Harness the Power of Planning, comes in. The other books are really just kind of outgrowths of conversations we've had with our students, our alumni, with things that they struggle with. And as you know, we're all about moms and caregivers and family communication and buy-in. This is where Rock Your Mission comes in. And then, of course, the holidays are coming. Natasha and I like to make them magical, but we also like to enjoy them ourselves.
Right. Yeah. And so this one's near and dear to both of our hearts. I mean, all of books are near to our hearts, but now, it's September, the Halloween costumes have already been in the store for a while.
Yes.
And on any minute now they're going to start playing, Let It Snow or whatever in the stores. So the holiday season is going to be upon us in a hot second. And this book just came out. It's a really great way for you to just take a moment for yourself. And we're talking like an hour, right, to go through this book and just get really set and settled on what it is that you want your holiday to be about, and we help walk you through that. Help walk you through like what do you really want it to be about, and then strategies on how to keep yourself aligned with that, right?
Yeah.
So you're not an overwhelm. You're not accepting every invitation you get out of obligation. You're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you're really getting a chance to enjoy the holidays and still create the magic that feels fulfilling for you and your family. So that to me is a big win right now. It's like, I'm so glad that we were able to get this book out in time, and then also, and the fact that we made it very accessible in that it really is going to take you like an hour to get through it. Like an hour to do that will save you so much.
Right, at least 10 hours.
Stress. Yeah. Right.
That's a common productivity tip that we say, is that for every 1 minute of planning, you're going to save 10 minutes of doing. So really, it's not spending a minute of planning. It's investing a minute.
Right.
Save yourself at least 10 minutes. And we think that, especially if you're someone who is new to planning, you're going to save more than 10 hours, because 10 hours is just kind of if you're fine tuning. If this is new to you, you're going to save way more time, because this is your first time implementing these strategies. And the thing too is that these strategies that we're going to teach you in Rock Your Holidays, these are strategies that you can apply in other areas of your life too, but this is just like a nice way to kind of test them out in a small scale environment, right?
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
Like we always talk about how the productivity tips that we talk about in 3, 2, 1, Done, we talk about these in our HPOP course, Harness the Power of Planning. HPOP is that shorthand. That's the cool name for it. But it's
what all the kids are calling it.
Yeah, that's what the cool kids call it.
HPOP. Mm-hmm.
But it's like when you're applying the strategies to a to-do list, it's like running a sprint. When you're applying those same strategies to something bigger that you want to do, like building an investment fund or buying a house or getting a degree, that's a marathon. So it's a slightly different way to apply the tips. So with Rock Your Holidays, you're going to learn strategies that we teach in our HPOP course, but just applied to a much smaller scale goal, if you will, which is a holiday season that is fun for you and magical.
I love it. I love all of that. I love all of it. Yeah.
So today, as you know, if you've joined us before, we always talk about something on our weekly chat. And today I wanted to talk about something that I thought dovetailed nicely with the holiday season, which is Gretchen Rubin's book, 4 Tendencies. And if this is new to you, you can answer, I think it's like a 5-question quiz. It's really short. And
it's like 12 questions, but it's still really short.
It's really short. You're not a lot of thinking. You're not going to get graded. And at the end, she will tell you your tendency, which is kind of how you interact with the outside world's expectations of you.
Right. And so it's a little bit different than like other personality quizzes, like maybe the Myers-Briggs or some other ones that you've, Enneagrams or that kind of thing that maybe you've come across, in that it really just focuses on like one aspect of your personality, which is how you respond to expectations, inner expectations and outer expectations, right? So she doesn't cram a whole bunch of other kinds of aspects of personality, into that as well. It's really just about how you respond to inner and outer expectations.
Yeah. And Natasha has an obligator tendency, and I have what's known as a rebel tendency. But I want to bring this up because the holidays are upon us. You might be hosting something in a few months, and the obligator tendency is one that can actually work to your favor at this time of year, because while I'm a rebel tendency, I have some obligator leanings as well. And one of the things about people who have an obligator tendency is that outside deadlines really help them, right? So if you want to stop procrastinating on picking that fabric to reupholster your couch in, set a date for a party, and you're going to be like, oh wait, I want that done before people come over, right? So I actually benefited from this recently because I had a couple of neighbors over for a dinner party, and I wanted them to meet each other. One neighbor, I've known them for 20 years. The other neighbor, they've only been in our neighborhood since the pandemic, and we haven't really had a chance to socialize. And so I thought, I'd like for you to meet, and I'd like to get to know these people better. And so, if I had just had the neighbor that I've known for 20 years over, I might not have felt such a kick in of the obligator, benefit. But because these newish people, I was like, well, they barely know me, right? I don't want them. And just in full disclosure, like householding is not one of my strengths. Okay.
Which is a very rebel thing. Because rebels only do what they like doing, and they don't like mundane tasks like cleaning up your house and keeping it, you know what I mean? So that's a total rebel thing. Like if it's mundane, Allegra don't want to do it. Like if you have the same workout for her week after week after week, she's like, you know, she does not.
I have to like change it up every day, right?
Yeah, so there's not into it if it's mundane.
Which is why I set as a daily goal for myself to straighten or repair one thing around the house every day, because that just helps. I do something slightly different every day.
Right, so it's not the same thing every day. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Except for clearing the dish rack, which is part of my morning ritual, which just, if you read the book, you'll see that. Anyway, oh, by the way, Rock Your Holidays is only 99 cents, by the way. The ebook is 99 cents.
Yes, and you can get it on Amazon right now for 99 cents, straight to your Kindle. Get going on it right away. Plus, it comes with a link to a little worksheet. So, you know, everything about, so whether you get a hard copy book and you write in the book itself, or you just use the worksheet, you know, you get that free printable that goes along with it, and you just follow along, and lickety split, you'll be through that whole process, and you're off to rock that holiday.
And the paperback, great gift idea. Stocking
yes,
stuffers,
excellent.
right? Because all of our books are really short, so it'll fit in your stocking perfectly.
If you think, oh, stocking stuffer, it's too late in the holiday season, I would assert that what's great about it's one of the best times to also do this book. If you can't do it prior to the holiday season, post-holiday season is a great time to do it too, because you're just fresh in your mind. You're like, oh my gosh, I never need to go to that work party again, right? Like this is the story that says in the book, where Allegra and her husband are just like, yeah, we don't need to go to our work party.
So, anywho, I did benefit from this desire to straighten up, because I was having people over that haven't been over before. And the thing that I've, you know, and it's also extra hard to straighten up around my house because I do have a teenager. And so that's a challenge. And one of the things that I've been trying to explain to my teenager is that it's easier to keep things clean than to get things clean. Right? And so doing a little bit is better than letting it all fall apart and then trying to motivate yourself to spend 2 days to like get it all clean again, right?
Get everything back, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so one of the nice things is that having this dinner party really forced us to deal with some things that had been sitting for a while. And it has been, we've just been saying to ourselves, hey, we spent all that time getting it clean. Let's just keep it clean. And by all that time, I mean 1 day, right? So it really didn't take that much time.
But yeah, but that's a good amount of time, right?
Yeah, no, getting the family all together on the same page and spending, 5 hours, like noticing things that you haven't noticed because they've been there for so long. That's
totally.
The dangerous thing is you stop noticing them.
Oh yeah, it just falls out of your because your brain can only take in so much information, right? And after a while, it's like, oh, that's been there for a while. We'll just make that part of the background.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, if you want to host something later in the holiday season, maybe earlier in the holiday season, have a couple friends over to just kind of give you that extra oomph to do a little extra straightening or cleaning, so that then when you have your bigger event, you have less to do.
Right. So that's a really good strategy for an obliger, and myself as an obliger, I use that strategy. We have a annual tree trimming party the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and that motivates us to, especially me, to go ahead and get the house like holiday ready. Because I would definitely do the inside of the house and set up a tree and stuff. But if people weren't coming over, I don't know if I would do. We live in a neighborhood where it's like, doing outside decorations are like too much of a thing. You know what I mean? We go to other neighborhoods and watch other people do that. But it just beautifying the outside of the house as well. Because I know a whole bunch of people are coming over for this tree trimming party, and it kind of gets you on the holiday spirit, which I really love. And it's early enough that it's like not in the thick of the December craziness. So as an obliger, I use that party as a way to springboard myself into the holiday season, and get the house, holiday ready. The other tendencies, because we've talked about rebel a little bit, we've talked about obliger a lot, which, by the way, majority of the humans out there are obligers. There's like 47% or something like that. A lot of us are
Well,
obligers.
Americans, right? Because I don't know about other cultures. I'm guessing it's a cultural thing, but I think she
I don't
only
know.
looked at Americans.
Yeah. Right, the author Gretchen Rubin, and by the way, this is research back, right? This is not just like I just made up a system, right? She researched all this, and these are the 4 personality types she came up with in regards to responding to expectations, inner and outers. The other 2 tendencies are upholder, which is somebody who's just like, I'm a rule follower. I have a moral compass. I'm going to do this, no, basically no matter what. They're good with inner motivation or inner expectations and outer expectations. That's somebody who's like that's that person who makes a New Year's resolution and sticks to it just because they said they would. You know what I mean? And they're going to do it no matter what. And the other one is a questioner, which you can imagine what that person does. That person is going to question why. Why do we need to do this? Why? And if you give them a good why, they're on board. But otherwise, if you don't have a good why, they are not interested. And that goes for their inner motivation or inner expectations and outer expectations. They need a good why for themselves. You got to give them a good why, that kind of thing, which can get exhausting for the other person to explain. If you've had kids, you've gone through the why phase. It's exhausting, So if somebody just hang on to that why phase all the way through adulthood, that's a questioner. So those are the 4 tendencies: rebels, questioners, obligers, and upholders.
And it's not like super strict. It's not like we all stay in our perfect lane. That's why it's a tendency.
Tendency,
right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that I do benefit from some of these tips that work for obligators. So, don't feel like, oh, well, I'm a rebel, so this won't work for me. I'm a rebel. And still having outside expectations, it does affect me to a certain degree, right? It just also means, as a rebel, it also means that I'm good at setting up my own deadlines. So it doesn't mean that I'm not affected by other people. So, oh, by the way, I just
but as long as it's more on your terms, right? That's the idea. And like, I love the way that you.
I just wanted to show really quick, because
it's not. Yeah, it's just because we're
so
split screen. Yeah, Rock Your Holidays. That's our it's the new book. You can see it on Instagram. You won't be able to see it right now on
I know on Zoom, but
on Zoom or the on YouTube or Facebook at the moment. But we'll post a picture of it anyway.
Yeah,
but you'll be able to find it if you go to our Amazon page or our tiny URL, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tinyurl.com/ryholidays.
Yeah, so you'll be able to find it there, or you can go to BYWD Books, right? /BYW. So tinyurl.com/BYWD Books. You see all our books there, and you'll be able to get any of those, again, short reads and so forth. So I love what you talk about when you talk about what you can do as a rebel to motivate yourself. With that little solution. So we've talked a lot about obligers, right? Put something outside of yourself, give yourself some kind of goalpost to hit outside of yourself that involves other people, right? And for you as a rebel, what's the solution that you usually use as a way to kind of like hack your rebel brain?
Yeah, so what works for rebels is to identify the thing it is that you want to do as a part of your personality. So rather than saying, I am cleaning the house, to say, I am a neat person. This is a part of my personality. And therefore, this is not me to have this stack here. And granted, it gets a little challenging when you live with other people.
Right. Yes. Who might be other tendencies, might have other tendencies, right?
Well, and the other thing too is that different things just bother different people.
100%. Like we all have different like levels of just right. Like we have like tolerance of of dirt and neatness and stuff. You know what I mean? Like some people are neat freaks, right? And some people are like, I can live with a
even more
sink full of dishes,
that, right? Like, okay, so my husband and I have been together 25 years, married and living together 20. when we first started dating at my apartment, I had this little square area. It was actually a little piece of carpet next to my door. And that was where my shoes went, right? So my apartment was shoe free and all my shoes went on this piece of carpet. And it was a small piece of carpet. And I would just kick my shoes off and there they would be. And it was orderly. I mean, they were in a place, but they were not side by side.
Standing upright, right there.
Right.
Like,
they were just, it was pile. I mean, I don't have 200 pairs of shoes, right? So I could easily find the pair, right?
Yeah.
At some point, early in our dating, my husband said, "It doesn't bother you, the mess of your shoes?" And I said, I don't understand what you mean, mess of my shoes. I can find them. They're all in one place. It's not messy. And he said, yeah, but they're not paired up, facing the same direction. And I said, nope, they're not. And I also realized, though, that it wasn't a big deal for me to do that. And I might like it. So I tried it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see like his shoulders like, oh, that's so much better.
And so it didn't bother you and it didn't really occur. You're like, I found them. That's orderly enough, right? Yeah. Right. But he was like,
but it's such a little thing. And I love this person. And why not make this person's life a little bit easier, right? I would go to his apartment. And in his bathroom, there were, I want to say, years worth of the plastic that goes around toilet paper rolls.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So,
what do you mean? Just like the plastic or like the actual?
Plastic. So he would use up the toilet paper rolls, get a new thing of toilet paper rolls and shove it in. And the plastic from the ones he just finished would just be back there. I mean, there were just dozens and dozens of just the plastic. And you know, it's it's so small, right? It doesn't take up any space.
No, it just gets compacted. Yeah, it gets smushed. Sure.
And I said, you have years worth of plastic back there. Why not put it in the recycle?
Yeah.
And he said, well, it doesn't take up any space. And I said, my shoes.
My shoes.
And so
my shoes, my man.
My shoes, my man. So because
my shoes, my man.
Bothered me.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so
so it's funny what bothers it. I know it's one of both of these examples that you give are something, not the plastic specifically for toilet paper, but like I say to my boys all the time, like if they have like a can of sparkling water or whatever, and they finish it and then they put it down, I was like, as soon as that thing's empty, that becomes garbage. That becomes an item to recycle, or instantly becomes trash. When that becomes trash or recycling, then we take care of that, right? Like we don't just leave it around because it's empty and now it is garbage. That's something to manage, And then the shoe thing, I put one kid in charge of making sure the shoes are aligned because we don't have a big entryway. And if you start piling those things up there, it's chaos very quickly. And we have a closet door that has to open and, anyway, so one kid's in charge of keeping those shoes aligned. And one of them is, let's not talk about like just the couch pillows and blankets and stuff wind up on the floor all the time. We have a giant dog who just kicks them off. The kids kick them off, and so each of them once a day needs to straighten those areas.
Yeah.
But my older kid was like, why? Who cares? Why would I need to put the shoes like this? Like, who cares? Like, who cares, Mom? He's making it sound like he's like, you're the only one who cares, basically. You know what I mean? So
but you know what?
He is a questioner. It's totally okay. He is a questioner. He needs a good reason why. And because I told you so is not a good enough reason for him. So, I have to say things like, because I can't really open the closet door, because if we let this get out of control, like there's room to walk, like, because Mommy might trip over it, And so he's like, okay, and so we're in that process. We're in the process of giving them the habit of tidying those areas once a day. Because it definitely isn't one of those things where they see it and they're like, oh, I should tidy that. Like at this point has to be like this is something you do every day kind of thing. Not like as needed. It's just every day, no matter what. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Natascha and I have to jump. We're getting interviewed by a podcast. And actually, we have a number of podcast interviews. If you want to hear us talk about Rock Your Holidays, you can go to our website, bywdreams.com, click on the podcast and interviews. And we actually did an interview recently about Rock Your Holidays that you can listen to.
Yeah, give you a little taste of the book itself, get some tips and tricks, and then grab the book for 99 cents. It's like such a steal at this moment.
And if you want to spend more time with Natasha and I, our January Harness the Power of Planning course is up for registration. And there's an early bird code that will get you almost 50% off. And it is
seriously.
Red Hot 2024.
Heck yeah. Let's do this.
Grab a friend. Do it together. Everything's more fun with a friend.
100%. We'll see you here next Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Nope. Flip that, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. We're here every Thursday, get a live chat with you, telling you what's up with us, and we love to hear from you. So please comment. Even if you're watching this later, do throw up some comments in the comment section. Tell us what you like to do. What's your tendency? Take that quiz. The link is in the comments here on IG, and we'll put it also on Facebook and YouTube too. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Bye.